Hello, this is German for your nightly devotional for this Thursday evening. And today, I want to talk to you about being a Pharisee. Yeah, you heard right. Being more like a Pharisee. Now, I know if you've grown up in church, the word Pharisee is a bad word. You don't want to be called a Pharisee. If you want to insult a Christian, call him or her a Pharisee, and you'll get them insulted real quick. And I want to talk to you about being a Pharisee because I've grown up in the church. And if you're like me and you've grown up in the church as well, you know that the Pharisees have a bad rap. And rightfully so. These men did everything for the sole intent of getting recognized. They did everything with a bad heart. They did everything with bad intentions. And so they deserve the rap they have. But one of the things that I admire about the Pharisees is what they did, how they did it. Sure, they had terrible intentions, but their actions were on point. Sure, they totally missed out on Jesus, but man, their actions were great. And as a Christian, I sometimes wish my actions were as great as theirs. Now, I know my actions don't save me, and how I pray doesn't save me, and Jesus saves me, but now that I'm saved, I want to be the best I can be for the Lord. And the Pharisees, the way they lived, they set the bar pretty high. When it comes to prayer, we're told, keep it simple. And we are made to believe that if you shower God with praise, then you're entering into the Pharisee world, the Pharisee way of praying. The reality is, God deserves to be praised. As I have been doing these devotionals in the book of Psalms, one thing that I have found is how expressive David was towards God. And David isn't called a Pharisee. I see how many adjectives David uses to describe God. Tonight's devotion is on Psalms 18. Psalms 18 begins with David saying, I will love you, O Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer. My God, my strength, in whom I will trust. My shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold. I will call upon the Lord who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies. Now imagine if you were to start a prayer with those three verses. Everybody would be like, what's going on? This person thinks they're better than us. They're holier than us. But if God really means that much to us, shouldn't we shower him with praise? If we love God as much as we say we do, shouldn't we say it to him and show it to him? Now, the Pharisees didn't love God, and the Pharisees did everything because they loved themselves and wanted the approval of men. But imagine if they were to love God. Imagine if what was in their heart would have been real. And you match that up with what was being produced on the outside. I don't know, but that produces a pretty awesome combination. And isn't that what we're called to do as Christians? Have a heart that's for the Lord. Do everything as unto the Lord. But part of it is to do. You can't have that verse without do everything as unto the Lord. It isn't just as unto the Lord. It's do. James talks about putting into actions the things that God is doing in our hearts. Working out our salvation. So as I looked at this psalm, and as I read the entire psalm, and the entire psalm is filled with David showering God with praise, I said to myself, maybe I need to be a little bit more like a Pharisee. Maybe what's on the inside needs to be broadcast a little bit better on the outside. Jesus told his disciples about the Pharisees. Do what they tell you to do. Don't do what they're doing. What he meant by that is do what they tell you to do, because what they tell you to do is good. Don't do it the way they do it. Don't do it with that heart. But if you're a Christian, do what the Pharisees did. Final thing. When we are in a relationship, a romantic relationship, especially now with all the advancements of social media, we are broadcasting everything about that person through Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. And if somebody were to call us out on it, our response might be, jealous much? Our response might be, hey, I love her. I love him. They mean that much to me. Now, that person wouldn't feel the need to apologize for their love, for the way they praise their significant other. Why do we feel that we need to apologize? Not to the world, but to other Christians about our love for Christ. Why do we feel like we need to tone it down so that other Christians can feel comfortable? The Pharisees did everything in a very meticulous way. And when Jesus would call them out on it, they weren't apologetic. What if we, instead of being apologetic about the way we worship God, how much we read our Bible, how much we know about the Bible, what if instead of being apologetic, we would say, jealous much? And not with a heart that's prideful, but with a heart that says, I love God. And I love God so much that He's worth each and every single praise that He receives from me. He is worth the time that I spend in my Bible. He is worth the time that I spent teaching people His Word. So from that standpoint, I say, let's be more like Pharisees. Good night.